All right, y'all, another LGBTQ situation going on here that we're trying to understand. This time it's a little switched. Apparently apparently a teacher was on the verge, was being threatened of being terminated because he wasn't trying to read no LGBTQ book in the classroom. Let's check it out. As always, guys, like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you know every time that I'm dropping another video and we can get into these conversations on the things that's going on. Let's check it out.
I felt as though my job was threatened.
New tonight, a Nashville charter school teacher says administrators threatened to fire him after he refused to read a children's book involving two dads to his first graders.
Well, now a legal group claims the school's position violates the Federal Religious Accommodations Act. It's a law.
Fox 17 News' Madeline Nolan shows us what the teacher and his attorney are saying tonight.
The teacher said this all started with a first grade reading lesson involving this book about a child and her two dads. Now, his attorneys say the school should have accommodated to his religious beliefs. The school has not yet responded publicly.
A first grade classroom lesson now at the center of a legal dispute. The book, Stella Brings the Family, features a child with two fathers.
I refused to read a book that had two fathers on the cover and one daughter. And I believe that is not what God designed a marriage to be.
Eric Rivera, a teacher at Kip Antioch College Prep Elementary, says he asked for a religious accommodation and a co-teacher taught the lessons instead. But he says the next day he was called into the principal's office.
The final warning said that I have to teach the lesson plan with fidelity, and if I didn't, I would be terminated.
Rivera says he had no prior discipline and was later reassigned to different positions but remains employed at the school. His attorney says federal...
What school is this? Where are we? This is a school?
Law requires religious accommodations in the workplace.
Primarily, we're concerned with Title VII, which gives everyone the right to a religious accommodation for their religious beliefs.
The legal group sent a demand letter February 17th requesting action from the school. They also raised questions about whether parents were notified about lesson content under a Tennessee state law. That's another thing we wanted to know. So I reached out to Kip Antioch College Prep Elementary, Kip Nashville Public Schools. None responded before the deadline. The Tennessee Public Charter Schools Commission tells me charter schools must follow state academic standards, but staff discipline is handled by the school.
His attorneys say that the school has 10 days to respond to that letter. Of course, we're going to let you know when or if they respond. Reporting here in Nashville, I'm Madeline Nolan, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Okay, so what do we think about the situation? Interestingly enough, and the reason why I smirked earlier was because with everything that's been going on, it seems like a lot of the issues that's been happening has been based off of migrants of different faith. A lot of times, honestly, in just about everything, we see a lot of people in disgust with the Christian faith, which I guess rightfully so, depending on the people that claim to be of that faith. We see people try to poke fun at the faith itself. You don't really see that in Hollywood, though, to that extent. But for actual people, like in the real world, they will poke a lot of fun at the faith, the true faith, because of, I don't know, church hurt that they got going on, or their emotions and them feeling certain ways of the things that are actually in the Bible that we should be heeding to, that it is in contradictory to the lifestyle that they want, or those that we live amongst that claim to be of the faith but really live like a Pharisee, and that's driving other people out. There's plenty of reasons that, cause people to feel and act the way that they do against those of the faith in a negative sense. And you really don't see that. And this is for a particular group of people, I guess, in a political realm. We'll go with that. And we see them bring favor in the minority, especially when it comes religious-wise, the minority, let's say the Muslims, which is slowly growing, while Christianity is also growing elsewhere. It's kind of weird. But when it comes to like those of the Muslims, they'll say that the Muslims can practice this and that and all that stuff, and they let them do whatever the heck that they want when it comes to the cities and all that good jazz. But it's interesting because they're saying they have the right to practice whatever they want, freedom of religion, which is true. So why is it that anytime when somebody says something in regards to freedom of religion that may be, I don't know, Christian based or based off of the Bible, and they say that they're not going to do it because of my religion, because of my faith, as we see here. Now, he didn't say specifically what he was. I'm going to assume that he's either Catholic and or, other Christian faith, but that's neither here nor there. What I'm thinking is, even Muslims, I'm pretty sure the Muslim faith, the Islamic faith, they, if anything, they persecute people for being LGBT. So, yeah, that's definitely not going to hang with them. So it's like if you're a teacher and you're told to do this, and I say, no, I'm not doing this because of my faith, but now you're threatening to fire me because of that. You can't do that per the Constitution. Because this is my faith. My faith tells me specifically that this type of behavior is an abomination and we shouldn't. Speaking objectively, in Christianity, in our Bible, God has mentioned that this type of relationship is an abomination. Our Apostle Paul has mentioned this type of relationship is an abomination. And it is sinful. And not only that we are not supposed to be living in the realm of sin or giving up to the desires of the flesh. Now, there's a rabbit hole and all that stuff, but I have other videos and we're talking in regards to this in the LGBTQ community. So you can go ahead and watch that. But going back to the Islamic faith, I'm positive that they're not going to be okay with doing any of that, teaching any of that or anything to that extent, unless they're not truly of the faith and they're just doing what they're told to do at work. Same with, the Christian faith. They may not truly be of the faith, but do whatever they're told to do at work. If I were a teacher and I was told that I had to do that, I would do the same thing. I'm not going to teach it. And we're not even going into, so let's go ahead and dig into that. Since when did we, Now, I can't say that in schools we didn't teach of social norms because there were book times, and book times of books were informative of behaviors, attitudes, how to act towards people, give different insight of, different faiths and different religions. I remember specifically and vividly in my second grade class, Mrs. Robertson's class, we were reading a book in regards to slavery. Now, you can say that is part of history. Yes, this is true. So I guess, how does this book that talks about a girl having two dads correlate with learning in school? That's up for debate. I'm neither here nor there in regards to the optics of that conversation. I just know that for me personally, this has nothing to do with school. This has nothing to do with the kids going and learning the basic arithmetics, math, reading, some social studies to a degree, science, language arts, like some physical type of activity. These are the things I send my school. These are the things I send my kid to school for. So I expect them to learn in that or be taught to a degree in that realm, not social ideologies. You know what I'm saying? Not social ideologies, especially not in elementary school. If you want to read that to a high school class, I guess sure. But these type of situations become interesting because I understand the desire to want, kids to be aware that there are maybe some students that have both their parents are of the same gender. because that's a thing that can happen now. So they want kids to just be aware so that they don't cause, issues when they actually see that. I say let the parents deal with that. Don't bring it up. Don't try to make it a norm in the school. Let the parents deal with that, because now you have an issue to where your kid sees things one way and the parents see something that's another way. And although I do feel like interesting, now I'm being selective, because on one hand I'll say that we have to train these kids to unlearn the stuff that their parents taught them, yet here would be the opportunity to train a kid to learn something opposite of what their parents taught them. But I guess it's really just depending on what it is. But what it is really based off of the beholder. Let's go back to teaching them math, reading, writing, and science. And, we'll stick with that, the original job of the school. Interesting situation nonetheless. But hey, y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section. I'm gonna catch you on the next one. Take it easy. Peace.